We're going to be speaking to political scientist and international relations expert, Dr. David Matsanga, with regards to the Tunisian elections and what the way forward is. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
It's an interesting one. We did an outbreak and contextualization of that yesterday. For our politics of politics, and there's so many contradictions in that country.
Yeah, I mean, one of the opposition leaders, who was also running for elections, presidential elections, is in prison, and this is happening while he's in prison. So yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic there with Tunisia. So Dr. Matsanga will unpack that for us.
Africa Update on Channel Africa.
It is 24 after 12 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. Tunisia's President Kais Saied has won a second term in the country's presidential election. The Independent High Authority for Elections of Tunisia says Saied won 90.7% of the vote. The ISIE says voter turnout stood at 28.8% in Sunday's election, the lowest since the 2011 revolution. Saied, 66, ran against two rivals, ally-turned-critic and Chab party leader Zouhair Maghzaoui and Ayachi Zamel, a businessman who was seen as posing a challenge to Saied's re-election until he was jailed last month. And to discuss this further, we have on the line political scientist and international relations expert, Dr. David Matsanga. Dr. Matsanga, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you very much, Sister Lulu. We still continue working for Africa all the way.
Dr. Matsanga, what do you make of the results announced by the Independent High Authority for Elections in Tunisia? Was the re-election of President Saied expected?
It was expected in a bad way. Negative elections, negative results. You have jailed the main opponent. You declare yourself 97 point something percent. A man who rules by iron fist like the president of Tunisia. A man who ignores the black community, whose country slaughters other Africans. This is what we did not like. Then why did we get out of this? Tunisia, this guy has slaughtered so many people. Tunisia created an Arab uprising. Then comes this guy who makes everybody scared, locks up opposition, muzzles opposition, waffles, or stifles. Just use every English word that you have gone to school to read. You will qualify what Tunisia elections are and what it is. You expected that turnout to be 90. In fact, we are lucky we have 3 or 2.3% of some people who braved to come out. The rest are voters that came out, and the rest were ballots stuffed.
Now, President Saied has faced criticism for his handling of economic challenges, particularly his refusal to accept a 1.9 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. Now, his reasons or concerns were the austerity measures that would hit the nation's most vulnerable. What would you say are the challenges that the country is still grappling with?
I am not a sympathizer of International Monetary Fund or World Bank. In fact, if I had the powers, I'll remove them, because these are just American institutions. Have you ever been told where the money comes from? Do you know where the money comes from? They collect it from us. They collect from Africa. They collect from South Africa. They collect from Uganda. They collect that money. Do you know we Africans have stopped, have kept quiet instead of talking. So on this one, the president is a bad guy. But on the refusal of IMF money, there I give him a credit. I balance the essay by saying that one he has done very well. Use what you have. than come in, bring IMF, bring American hegemony. The traits of neo-colonialism, of mercantile capitalism that keeps on coming to Africa through the back door of IMF. Look at Zambia today, IMF. Look at Zimbabwe across, IMF. Look at DRC Congo, IMF. Look at every country, IMF. Africa should refuse this question of same people trading in us, collecting money from us because we want to visit America. How many people line up in South Africa because they want to visit America? How much money do they get from us every day in millions across Africa? Then they come and say, IMF, that money, the president on this one, he is not a good man. And I've told you, he is right to refuse IMF.
What would you say are some of the key issues that President Saied needs to tackle as he returns to the high office?
Look for African solution for African people. Remove that stigmatization of Africans. People who go to Tunisia. Tunisia is one of the few countries in North Africa that does not like the people from the south of Sahara. We come there because we have problems in our own south. Don't kill us. Remove that policy. Allow the Africans, take them as human beings. Put them in a camp, give them food. Don't allow people to slaughter them on the streets of Tunis. In fact, it is safer to go to Algeria than it is to go to Tunisia. Remove that policy. 3, engage with African banks, engage with fellow Africans to see whether we can be able to borrow money from each other and resuscitate your economy. That one. Remove dictatorial tendencies. If democracy in Africa has refused, use what we call a redemption strategy. Do you know what? I've been preaching this thing of redemption strategy, and the people call me mad. They call me mad when I talk about redemption strategy. Look at what is happening in Kenya. They refuse to listen to me on redemption strategy. Oh my God. Redemption strategy is what South Africa stands today, is what Mandela looked at in 1994 and said there must be a truth and a reconciliation commission that will heal the wounds of the past and the present. Where you are, stable South Africa. You win election without violence. If Africa does not look for a redemption strategy, if the president of Tunisia does not look for redemption strategy, he's going to jail and kill his own people. He's going to jail and kill his own opposition. How many of the opposition can you kill?
Dr. Matsanga, we'll have to leave it there. We have run out of time, and unfortunately, we can go on and on with these conversations, you and I. But thank you so much for joining us on Africa Update today.
Thank you very much. Keep it redemption. Remember, he must do redemption, or else Tunisia will burn.
That's political scientist and international relations expert Dr. David Matsanga joining us on the line. Our news headlines up next with Jolani Tulo.